Yo, what's good, man? It's your boy Esquire Dave. I pod again, back on the booth again. I know last time I was reacting to some tennis, so what was going on in the French Open, and of course we got a lot going on in the sports world. NBA Finals, Knicks are up 2-1 as I record right now. That's probably going to change in the next 5 hours or so after this. We'll see how that goes. And in the Stanley Cup, it is 2-2 right now. Shout out to the Canes for tying the series up last night. Appreciate that. Go Canes. So a lot going on. And, obviously, WNBA, baseball, all that good stuff happening as well. But what I'm here to talk to y'all about today is the beautiful game of soccer, what they call football. Football. Yeah, the beautiful game, the World Cup, is in North America this year and starting this Thursday, June 11th, and for the next 38 days is going to be soccer. It's soccer season. It's going to be football frenzy, when it comes to the World Cup in North America, and it should be exciting. I'm looking forward to it. I've been ready to do to talk about this, and I'm here today to give you guys a preview of what you should expect to see. Going to talk about maybe the format of how the groups are, what players to look out for, and also we're going to get into how these groups will shape up. And as the World Cup is going, we're definitely going to check back in. And, once we get past the group stage and we get, towards the knockout rounds, we'll definitely check in. But here, to start this preview off, this World Cup preview here, I want to talk about, the players that you should pay attention to, that you should watch for. So I'm going to start with the guys, the vets, the guys that are pretty much going to be, on a farewell tour this summer. Guys like Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, Neymar, Mo Salah, who's played for Egypt, Rodriguez out of Colombia, Kevin De Bruyne, the midfielder for Belgium. These are guys that have been on these national teams they've played in for years. They played in multiple World Cups. They've had a number of national team appearances for their country, and this summer is probably going to be the last time that you see these guys. So Lionel Messi, this is definitely going to be the last time that you see him in an Argentina uniform. So make sure that you savor this moment. Anytime that you see Argentina, playing, make sure that you realize that this is the last time you're going to be seeing one of the greatest players ever, on the pitch. So shout out to Lionel Messi. Cristiano Ronaldo is back for Portugal. We'll see what type of impact he was able to make, over the past few years during the Euro Cup and also in some other tournaments and in the international friendlies. Ronaldo has been able to make some impact. So let's see what he's able to do. His role as, like the top guy, he's obviously the most recognizable name on the, Portugal team. And he's the all-time leading goal scorer for Portugal. But I don't feel like that's his role anymore. I think that, that kind of belongs to Bruno Fernandes and some other players on the team. So we'll see if he's, see what Ronaldo's able to do. But that's another guy that, you're probably, after this summer, you're probably not going to see him in the Portugal uniform again. So make sure that you also, understand the fact that that's, that you're another great is going to be, probably not on the scene after a while after this World Cup. And Neymar for Brazil. I was not sure, if he was even going to, be selected for the national team this time around. I know there was like some politics, and it was really up to the team manager on whether they wanted to, just rely on just Vinny Jr. as the lead and kind of let maybe some younger guys in. But I'm glad that Neymar is on this team. I think, he deserves to have one last go around at it. Last time that, they were in the World Cup 4 years ago, things in, I think I know they feel like they underachieved. But, I think they're looking to bounce back, and it'll be a good chance to, see Neymar again out there on the pitch. With him, his time now, he's on a club team in Saudi Arabia. So you don't really see too much of him like you see these other guys that are playing in Europe. So yeah, it'd be good to see Neymar is back, in the World Cup games, and get a chance to see him, in the Brazil uniform one more time. So yeah, those are the main guys, and I mentioned Mo Salah. Maybe he'll come. Maybe this may not be his last World Cup. I'm not sure how old he is or whatever. Maybe he might have one more in him after this. But yeah, guys like that, Kevin De Bruyne, or one of my favorite players, used to play for Manchester City. And a lot of those guys, those guys that they call the golden age of Belgium soccer. I know Romelu Lukaku's still there. He's one like talented goal scorer for Belgium. Some of the other guys that they've had, over the past, the past 10 years, some of the names that you don't really see them anymore. I really like Jeremy Doku, another Manchester City guy. I like what he's going to be able to contribute to the team. I think he'll make a big impact for Belgium. But yeah, Kevin De Bruyne, that's another guy that, after this summer, we may not see him in the World Cup anymore. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. And about this format, so normally the World Cup is 32 teams. Normally, in the past, in just recent years, and over the past few decades, that's just how it's been. 32 teams have been represented in the World Cup. This year, though, is different. We're hosting the World Cup across 3 countries: Canada, United States, and Mexico, across North America. And so with that, there's those three nations are automatically in the field because they're hosting the World Cup. So they expanded the format. They expanded the number of teams from 32 to 48. So normally we would have 8 groups of 4. This time we have 12 groups of 4. So with those 12 groups, and it's still going to be, round robin, where within each of those 12 groups of 14, with 4 teams each team is going to play each other one time. So it's still going to be 3. Each team is still going to play 3 group stage matches no matter what. Now, what will happen, after that, as far as the standings, the top 2 teams in each group are going to automatically advance. And the 8 best third place teams out of the 12 groups are going to be wild cards and advance to the knockout round stage. And how these, for those that may not be familiar with how like the standings will work, or how what will qualify as a win or a loss, or what happens when 2 teams draw, because first off, in a group stage match, there's no extra time, there's no penalty kicks. That's for the knockout stage. In the group stage matches, the match is gonna be 90 minutes. Like the actual match time is gonna be 90 minutes plus some stoppage time before halftime and some stoppage time before the match is over. There's not going to be any extra time or penalty kicks. That's for when we actually need to have a winner, in the knockout stage. So when a team wins a group stage match, they get 3 points in the standings. When two teams tie, each team will get 1 point in the standings. And of course, if a team loses a match, you don't earn any points. It's 0 points for that match. And also goal difference is measured as well. So for example, let's say for example, Spain beats Uruguay like 3-1. So in the standings, they'll have a +2 goal difference in the stands. If that's their first, I don't know if that's their first. I don't think that's their first match, but just just for an example, like that's how it would be. And then the next match, let's say they win that match like 2-1, and their goal difference will be +1. So now their goal difference is +3. Because if you add all the goals that they scored together, if they won the first match 3-1, and then the second match they won, what did I say, 2-1? That means they've scored 5 goals and they've allowed 2. So their goal difference is 3. So goal difference, I would say pay attention to goal difference, because that may be a deciding factor on who advances to the knockout stage. But once things play out on the group stage and we get to who the knockout, who's going to be in the round of 32, definitely want to come back on here and talk about anything that went down, between how the groups panned out. So yeah, that's how the format will be. I'm excited for it. It means for one more round of soccer, which it's great for FIFA and great for the fans. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. Now, I do want to talk about what this will mean for USA soccer and kind of just like my thoughts on this World Cup being in North America and what it could possibly do for soccer in the US. So first off, the USA team that's put together, or that has been rebuilding, that's been building year after year, and has gotten to this point, this pivotal summer for USA men's soccer. This is one of the most talented teams, USA men's teams that we've had probably since maybe 2014, the 2014 World Cup, because keep in mind, 2018, USA didn't qualify for the World Cup. In 2022. Team was also very talented, was able to get out of the group, but lost in the round of 16 to the Netherlands. This team I feel like this team is better than, at least on paper, they're more talented than what was in 2022. But a lot of those players, it's a lot of the same players, but they're just more experienced. And they've also, have gone through a lot, since then. They had a really bad showing at Copa America back 2 years ago where they didn't get out of the group. And at the time, they fired Greg Berhalter, the previous team manager, and now they've since then hired Mauricio Poncetio, I think. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. He used to coach some Premier League teams over in the UK. Well-known name over in European football. And yeah, I thought, at the time, and I still think like it's like one of the best hires that, USA soccer could have. And everything is now coming down to this. He's had, a couple years to get this team in shape. you can see some improvements, but there's certain things that we would like to go on USA's way. Like I think, for example, in the Gold Cup, where USA lost to Mexico. You would like to see USA win that game, even though it wasn't with.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hey guys, we're taking a quick break in the episode to present an ad for Alpha Progression. If you're serious about building muscle and tired of the gimmicks, check out the Alpha Progression app. It's no BS, just science-backed training designed by real lifters and competitive bodybuilders. Alpha Progression has already been named the App of the Day by Apple twice, and it's the top-rated fitness app in Germany, now making waves worldwide. What sets this app apart? First, the intuitive workout logger. It's powerful enough for seasoned lifters, but simple enough for beginners to jump right in. Then there's the AI-powered plan generator. It customizes workouts from scratch based on your goals and equipment, with over 1,000 trillion input combinations. Quality-wise, this app has workout plans that measure up to the best personal trainers in the world. And it doesn't stop there. Their progression algorithm gives you exact weight and rep suggestions based on your performance, so you're always improving and never plateauing. And right now, we got a special deal for you guys. For you all as Savs4 podcast listeners, get 20% off your first payment using this following link: alphaprogression.com/Savs4. That's alphaprogression.com/Savs4. SAVSIN4. Train smarter, grow stronger. Download the Alpha Progression app today. A lot of the players that are on the national team now, I mean, they were playing with kind of the B team, if you will. But I think Mauricio's been able to do all right. And now it's put up or shut up time. When it comes to being able to make some noise and have a great showing in this tournament. So what exactly does a great showing for USA Soccer, what would that mean, for the world, for them this summer? One, the group that they're in, I mean, it's them, it's Paraguay, you have Turkey, and the fourth team is Australia. So USA better get out of the group. If USA can't get out of the group, it's a disaster, first and foremost. It's a huge disaster. If USA can't get out of the group, it's a huge disaster. Even if USA finishes second or third and still make it out, it's still not a good look. USA should win this group. They're the highest ranked team from this group, and the only team that may be able to give them problems is Turkey. I mean, Turkey is an unfamiliar matchup to them. Australia, Australia's not that good, to be honest. But Paraguay has given USA some problems recently. I think in Copa America, they gave USA some problems. So I would say that's the only one. I mean, but USA should be able to win this group. You should be able to. With the talent that you have, you should be able to win this group. So what success looks like is being able to do that and at least winning one knockout round match. Like if you're able to, get to the round of 32, win a match there and, get to the round of 16. And even if you get to the round of 16, I think USA is good enough to get to the quarterfinals. To be honest with you, I think they're good enough to at least get to the quarterfinals. But I think you need to win the group first off, and you need to get one knockout round win in order for this to be considered a successful campaign in the World Cup. And what that would mean is like what that would mean. It would mean for a kind of a bigger boom of soccer. When in the United States, yeah, like Major League Soccer has grown, since its inception back in the late '90s, and even how that began, and how like more there was like an investment and push in soccer, and we know like soccer is not the pastime when it comes in the U.S. I mean, that's still with football and basketball, like those sports are going to get more attention, but don't be mistaken. I mean, Major League Soccer has grown, I think, in my opinion, over the last 5 years or so. The problem I have with them is that their TV deal is just horrible. I mean, everything is on Apple TV. Not a lot of games on cable or in the national spotlight. I mean, whatever games, they're not even really. There's not really anything that you can even see like on Fox. I mean, I know they show games on Fox Sports 1 sometimes, but they need to get a better TV deal. And even like for how that initial boom of soccer started with MLS, I mean, going back, the last time that we had a World Cup game on American soil was in the summer of 1994. And that USA team made it to the quarterfinals. That team, along with the 2002 team, that also made it to the quarterfinals. That's been our best showing. That's been USA's best showing in the World Cup. So imagine if this team is able to get even to the semifinal. If you get to the semifinal, that would be nuts. That would be nuts, and that would be nuts. That would bring so much. That would bring so much excitement of soccer to the country, and I think that would that would kind of push maybe even MLS and maybe some other investments in soccer, and maybe even like other players from other countries, like players that are playing out in the UK, they're playing in La Liga in Spain, they're playing in Bundesliga in Germany, or and just other Italian Series A, or in the French league where PSG is. Some players might come over there and come to the MLS because they'll see such a big big time like shift in how soccer is looked at in the United States. And I think a lot of how soccer will be looked at in the future will depend a lot on how this team performs in this World Cup. So, and if this team doesn't, perform as well, it's gonna be a disaster. And I don't know what that would mean for like how we as a collective look at, future investments in the sport, when in the United States. But I think USA has, a good shot to be able to make a run. Will they win the World Cup? In my opinion, they won't, because eventually, you get that far. To me, the favorites are Spain, France, Argentina, Brazil. I think Morocco can make a run. Colombia is a dark horse. I think the Netherlands. I'd say Portugal, maybe. England. I mean, England is always in the mix, because you're going to have a team that either has had that has English players that have played in the Premier League, which is considered one of the best leagues in the world, in football, probably the best league in when it comes to this sport. So you're going to have players that are currently playing in the league at a high level, or players that have played in the league already or playing somewhere else but have played in the English Premier League. So you're going to have a stacked team. But the best comparison I can give you about this England soccer team is that they're pretty much like they're the equivalent to like the New York Knicks in basketball or the Dallas Cowboys in football. There's so many expectations on them, and their fan base always believes that this time is going to be it. This time is going to be it. This is going to be it. And because of those high expectations, they're falling short of it. They did get to the Euro Cup final. I think actually they got to the Euro Cup final the past two times. in 2020 and then in 2024. Well, the Euro Cup one that was played in 2021, but they got to the final, lost to Italy on penalties, in a heartbreaking fashion. Lost in the final to Spain in 2024 in that Euro Cup final. So they've been knocking on the door lately. But we'll see what they're able to do, in this tournament. But that team is always stacked. So yeah, I mean, those I think are kind of the favorites there. And also, oh man, how could I forget? Another player to look out for is last but not least. I can't believe I almost forgot to even mention this guy. Lamine Yamal. I don't even know if he's 20. I don't think he's 20. He might have just turned 20. He might still be 19, but this is the young phenom out of Spain that came on the scene during the Euro Cup back in 2024. And, he's a big reason why people believe Spain will be able to win it all this time. And why they're such a big favorite. He's clearly, he's one of the best, attacking wings forwards in the world, and there's going to be a lot of attention on him. But in order for Spain to be able to advance like everyone believes that they will, Lamine Yamal is going to have to make plays. I think he's a young, exciting player that you're going to have to watch out for. No, we haven't forgotten about Kylian Mbappe. We haven't forgot about guys like Erling Haaland for Norway. Haven't forgotten about Hakimi in Morocco. And some other guys out there. But Lamine Yamal is going to be someone that you want to pay close attention to. Same thing with Mbappe out in France. Mbappe, lives for stages like this where he can, perform at a high level. He did it kind of similar, I think, like when he was Yamal's age back in 2018. Young guy that, I think he had already kind of, been making a name for himself in La Liga at the time. Oh, actually, was he? Yeah, I think was he? Where was he at that time? Oh, I think he was actually PSG. Sorry. Yeah, when he was making kind of his move around, in France at that time as a young teenager, making a name for himself. And then that 2018 World Cup, he, just balled out, put, himself on the global map of who he is as a soccer player. And he's still one of the best in the world. It's just Lamine Yamal is, he's on his toes. But yeah, those are guys that you need to look out for. These are things that these are just some storylines, that I'm mentioning that you should pay attention to. But with that being said, let's go ahead and transition over to the group breakdowns. Let's see what we got here, and we can go group by group, and let's see. I'm gonna give my predictions on who I believe will come out of each group. So let's start with Group A. We got Mexico, South Africa, Republic of Korea, and Czechia. Okay, so Mexico, to me, who's the best team out of this group? The best team out of this group is Mexico, in my opinion. And Mexico also has another, player, a longtime player for the Mexico national team, Ochoa, the goalkeeper. This is going to be his last time, most likely playing in the World Cup. I think Mexico's clearly the better team, the best team out of this group. I will watch out, for Republic of Korea. I think they have some solid players too, particularly my man's that used to play for Tottenham, last name Son. So yeah, I would watch out for them. Is there anyone that I would give a chance to possibly sneak in advance? Maybe Czechia. I think Czechia could possibly do it. But if I were to pick two teams that the two teams that will for sure advance out of this group, it'll be definitely Mexico and Republic of Korea. I think Czechia is actually one of my wild card teams. I think they could be one of my 8 wild card teams that can advance to the knockout stage. And South Africa, appreciate. Yeah, South Africa is great that they'll be able to have a chance at the World Cup, but I think they will finish last. So let's move on to Group B. Group B, we have let's see here. We have Canada, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Qatar, and Switzerland. All right. This group. So to me, the best group, the best team here is Canada. I like Canada. I like what they have going. They didn't perform. They had a subpar showing at the last World Cup out in Qatar, and I think they're gonna want to bounce back from that. I think they'll be one of the teams that advances to the knockout round. Qatar, do I think Qatar could advance? No, I don't think so. Bosnia, I think for that second team to advance, I'm gonna take Switzerland on that. I think I trust what Switzerland has more than Bosnia and Herzegovina, but I think Bosnia could. I think they can sneak into the knockout round as a third place team. I do think that can happen. So let's move on to Group C. Group C, we have Brazil, Morocco, Haiti, and Scotland. So as you guys know, one of the first matchups of this tournament, it will be Saturday, June 13th, Brazil, Morocco, I think out in MetLife Stadium. That's going to be lit. I'm definitely looking forward to that match. Brazil and Morocco, I mean, just this is pretty simple. They're the two best teams in the group, the two best teams. And it doesn't matter one or two. Who do I think will finish first? Probably Brazil. And why finishing number one in the group or number two, why that matters so much is that when you finish in first place, you play the second team. You play the second ranked team in the group that is that the group that. So Group C, like for Group C, they'll either play the second team of Group B or the second. Like if you win, so if Brazil wins Group C, for example, they will play the second best team, I think, in Group D or in Group B. Got to see how the bracket works out, for the knockout round. But that matters. I mean, because you could be playing that matters because of matchups and who you could possibly, just be facing, in that to start off the knockout rounds. But I think Brazil and Morocco are the two best teams. I feel confident that they will be the ones to advance. I like Haiti. I look forward to seeing Haiti in this tournament. Scotland, I think Scotland will finish fourth. Haiti, to me, will finish third. Will they have a chance to advance as a wild card, as a third place team? Maybe. It depends. So for Haiti, what they're going to have to do to be able to advance, I think they're going to have to beat Scotland to be able to gain 3 points from that match. And I think they gotta be able to at least tie with Brazil or Morocco. I think they can probably tie with Morocco. Brazil, I don't give Haiti a chance against Brazil. But I don't know. Things just kind of happen in this tournament. I mean, we saw some upsets that I'll talk about, and that I'll talk about later. Once we get to those particular teams. But we've seen we've seen things not go as planned, in tournaments like this. So, but I got Brazil and Morocco as the only two teams advancing out of Group C. Now Group D. For Group D, I got so let's see who's in Group D first off. So Group D, we got USA, Paraguay, Australia, and Turkey. So, like I said before, USA should win this group. I got them finishing first in the group. Who will finish behind them? I'm gonna say Paraguay. I think Paraguay is a tough team. I think they can. I think they can get. I think that's USA's biggest threat. In this group. And the one, I say that because they're so familiar because of CONCACAF. They play each other, in other tournaments. So, I got Paraguay coming in second and advancing to the knockout round. I do think Turkey could possibly finish second. Depending on, just the bounce of the ball and if they're able to, pull off a big win, at some point. But yeah, I have three teams advancing out of this group, with either Paraguay or Turkey being one of those wild card teams or third place teams that advance. Now Group E. Group E, we have Germany, Costa Rica. Not Costa Rica. We have Germany, Curaçao, Ivory Coast, and Ecuador. All right, so this one is, I haven't actually been able to see, like what Germany has to offer. I think they just beat the U.S. in an international friendly this past weekend. But I think Germany will be able to win the group. For second place. Man, I feel like that can go to either Ivory Coast or Ecuador. I like Ivory Coast a lot. I like Ivory Coast. I mean, they won the African Cup of Nations back in 2023. Well, 2024. Dang. I remember, because they beat Nigeria to win that joint. I was upset about that. But yeah, I think they're a good team. I think they'll be able to advance. I also think Ecuador is also good enough to advance too. So I have three teams coming out of Group E, and so far, Ecuador will be my third place team to be able to advance. So Germany, Ivory Coast, and Ecuador coming out of Group 3. Now Group E. Group F. In Group F, we have the Netherlands, Japan, Sweden, and Tunisia. Now, this one is okay. So first off, who's the best team in the group? I think it's the Netherlands. However, Japan is a sneaky team. I think they're sneaky good. I think on any given day they can beat anybody. To be honest with you, Sweden is also kind of sneaky in my opinion. Tunisia, I've seen Tunisia. I've seen Tunisia be able to, cause some problems based on a matchup. I think I think Netherlands will be number one. I would say Japan number two. I think those two teams go automatically. I do think a third place team will come out of this group. It's just a matter of fact that do I think it will be Sweden or do I think it will be Tunisia? If I had to put some money on it, I'd probably say Sweden. I think they just kind of just have more, I think they're just a little bit more equipped than Tunisia. So I'm gonna put Sweden as my third place team to advance out of Group F. So in Group G, we have Belgium, Egypt, Iran, and New Zealand. This one is kind of straightforward for me. I think Belgium and Egypt are the two best teams in the group, and I think those two teams will advance. Iran doesn't really score a lot of goals, and also I just saw New Zealand get their ass handed to them by Haiti. So I don't have any confidence in them. Yeah, Iran does play like some stout defensive coverages when on the pitch, but I don't think it will be enough to be able to make any noise. So Belgium and Egypt coming out of Group G. Now let's go to Group H. So Group H, we have Spain, Uruguay, Cape Verde, and Saudi Arabia. Now, I want to tread a little bit lightly here because we saw Saudi Arabia beat Argentina in the last World Cup. We know that if you watch that match, there was a lot of that first half. If the refs didn't call offsides on some of those goals, maybe that upset doesn't happen. But I think Saudi Arabia, I'm actually looking forward to seeing them. I'm looking forward to seeing them. Spain to me, the clear favorite out of this group. Uruguay, I think Uruguay is also good. I think Uruguay will finish second. It's Cape Verde. I think it's great that they're in the World Cup, but I think this is going to be one of those. Happy to be here. We'll play our 3 games. Our fans will be excited. It's going to feel like a playoff atmosphere in those stadiums. But it's going to be a kind of a thank you for coming type of situation for Cape Verde. So I got Spain and Uruguay, the top 2 teams advancing, and I'm going to pick Saudi Arabia as my third place team. So third place team to advance. So far I have 5 third place teams advancing: Czechia, Bosnia, Tunisia, Sweden, Ecuador, and Saudi Arabia. All right, so that's who's coming out of Group H. Group I. All right, let's take a look at Group I. Group I: France, Senegal, Iraq, and Norway. Okay, so for this, am I showing? Okay, there we go. Yeah, France, Senegal, Iraq, and Norway. All right. So for this, okay, well, who do you think I'm picking number 1? Yeah, France, of course. I'm not gonna go against Mbappe. France, I got France number 1. Norway, I think they will be able to do enough to get out of the group and not need the third place, not put themselves in jeopardy to be third place. But also Senegal is also a tough team too. I think as far as Iraq, I don't know. I mean, there's other things that that's going on that I won't get into here, but I think the 3 best teams in this group are France, Norway, and Senegal. Can Senegal sneak in as the second best team in this group? Probably. I think that match against Norway is going to dictate a lot of that. And if they're able to, get a good result against France. But I think France advances, and I think Norway and Senegal advance. I think both of them will end up advancing. I mean that's how I feel like that's how that's going to go. Let's go to Group J. Group J has Argentina. One second. Group J has Argentina, Algeria, Austria, and Jordan. All right, this is pretty easy. Argentina and Algeria. Jordan, I think again, Jordan is gonna, I think this is again, for the fans, it's gonna be, a great opportunity for them to appear in the World Cup, but I don't think they're gonna be able to do much. Austria, same thing. I don't think they're gonna be able to do much. In this group, I think Argentina and Algeria will be able to take some control over this group and probably will be able to advance maybe after the second match. Have it in the hand to be able to, rest some players for that third match if possible. But yeah, I got Argentina and Algeria advancing out of Group J. Now, Group K, we have Colombia, Congo, Republic of Congo, Uzbekistan, and Colombia. Easy. I think another one. Uzbekistan, Congo. Thank you for coming. We appreciate it. But I'm picking I'm picking Portugal and Colombia. Those are the two best teams in the group. I think Portugal will probably take the number one spot in the group. But honestly, I feel like, honestly, for some teams that, I feel like it doesn't even really matter if you win the group or not, or if you end up in second place. But yeah, those are the only two teams I see advancing out of Group K. And last but not least, we have Group L. Group L is consistent of England, Croatia, Ghana, and Panama. Now, okay, so normally in these tournaments, you have something that's called the group of death. So in the, with the group, when, for something to qualify as like the group of death, all four of those teams have to be, in a ranking that they're like not too far from each other. One example of a group of death is actually one that USA was in, I think back in 2014. Yeah, back in 2014 in the World Cup, where that group you had, who was it? You had Portugal, Ghana, and damn, who was that other team? I forgot. Germany. I think it was Germany, actually. Was it? I think it was Germany. Yeah, I think it was Germany. But USA was able to do enough against Ghana and Portugal to be able to win, to be able to advance out of that group. So, yeah, I think this might be another, Group L is probably the closest group of death situation, but it's not really a group of death. I mean, England, on paper, England, Croatia, probably the two best teams in the group. I give Ghana a chance in this situation. I think there's three teams that will advance to the knockout round out of this group. England, Croatia for sure. I think, Ghana's not able to get second place. I think they'll sneak in as a wild card team. So, yeah, that's the group. Those are the groups. All 12 teams, all 12 groups. 32 will advance. 32 out of 48 teams will advance to the World Cup round of 32 once we get there towards the end of the month, really. So I appreciate everyone for watching and listening to this. Hopefully, you're excited about the World Cup like I am. Stay tuned for the first match happening, between Mexico and South Africa, I think 3 p.m. Eastern time on Thursday. So make sure you check that out. I will definitely try to, look at the game as much as I can. Appreciate everyone for watching and listening, to this episode. If you're watching on YouTube and you like what you saw, please hit that like button and do us a favor, hit that subscribe button as well. We appreciate everyone for, watching and listening. However, you may be doing so on on YouTube or any of the podcast streaming platforms. Make sure you follow us on social media, Facebook, X, Twitter, all that good stuff. And yeah, man, like I'm gonna be back on here after the group stage is done. I'm excited to see how this all pans out. To me, man, like, when it doesn't even have to be the World Cup. Like, even when we have like big soccer tournaments certain years, like, this year is the World Cup. I think the Women's World Cup is next year. The Euro Cup is in 2028, and the Olympics will also be that year as well. And I know USA will have tournaments like Copa America and Confederations Cup and Gold Cup, like before the next World Cup too. So this is just exciting. This is just exciting to see. But yeah, Phil, if there's anything that you disagree with or anything that you feel like, maybe wasn't covered when it comes to the World Cup, put it in the comments. We'll definitely, try to react to it. But again, we appreciate you guys for listening. As always, shout out to the rest of the rest of my guys, the rest of the Sass and Four crew, Brad, T, Dre, BT, Cord, Cino. Appreciate you guys. Much love as always. Thank y'all very, very, very much for rocking with me for this episode. Stay tuned for more content. More content is on the way. Again, they call me Dr. Esquire Dave. This is Sass and Four. I am out of here.